All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to break down a beautifully simple, totally heartwarming story to really understand the core tenets of a healthy, consent-based relationship. If you have ever felt like modern media just bombards us with relationships full of unnecessary drama, toxicity, and exhausting games, well, you're in the exact right place. We are looking at a narrative that deliberately chooses a different path, one that focuses on genuine connection and mutual respect, and shows how those elements actually create a much deeper, far more captivating romance. We'll be using the story of two characters, Ryan and Emma, to map out the true anatomy of a healthy partnership. But before we even meet our characters, let's set our baseline with this really powerful quote directly from the author. By explicitly refusing to write content that models pressure or manipulation, the author is making a very clear, highly intentional choice to model mutual respect instead. It's actually a fantastic reminder of how conditioned we've all become to accept high-stress, boundary-pushing behavior as quote-unquote romantic in fiction. But in reality, true intimacy requires the exact opposite. So let's jump into Section 1, Writing a Healthy Romance, the Fable Framework.
Which brings us to Section 2, A Natural Beginning, the Art of the Slow Burn.
Okay, picture this. It's a rainy afternoon in a quiet bookstore cafe. Emma is completely absorbed in a novel by the window. She accidentally drops a bookmark, and Ryan picks it up. Boom! That's it. No grand explosions, no dramatic collisions where they spill coffee all over each other. It's literally just a dropped bookmark that sparks a totally natural conversation about books, which then effortlessly flows into travel, music, and their dreams. Hours pass without them even noticing. And the reason this simple, explosion-free meet-cute works so incredibly well is all grounded in Ryan's mindset. Real relationships take time, patience, and trust. You see, he approached this meeting knowing that a genuine connection simply can't be rushed. And think about what we can take away from this in our own lives. When we strip away that heavy pressure to instantly fall head over heels, we actually allow ourselves the breathing room to see the other person clearly. And look at how this brilliantly illustrates the natural pacing of their early days together. From that very first day at the bookstore cafe, they seamlessly transition into weeks of exploring parks, then visiting museums over the next month, or, sometimes just grabbing coffee. They are simply enjoying time together over the ensuing weeks and months. Notice what's missing. There are no dramatic, heavy promises being made. There's no frantic rushing to define the relationship immediately. The progression is just steady, calm, and entirely focused on shared experiences rather than hitting arbitrary dating milestones. During this time, we get to see exactly how trust is practically built. Ryan didn't rely on expensive gifts or flashy, over-the-top gestures to impress Emma. Instead, he utilized an active listening approach. He remembered her favorite flower. He actually took the time to learn the songs she loved. He recalled specific tiny stories about her childhood. And crucially, absolutely crucially, he never interrupted her. He respected her opinions and constantly encouraged her ambitions. And here's why this matters so much. Active listening is what makes a partner feel fundamentally safe and valued. Because of this, Emma felt completely comfortable just being herself around Ryan, which is really the bedrock of any solid partnership. Moving right along to Section 3, Building a Strong Foundation, Moving Beyond the Honeymoon Phase. Now, the crucial point to take away here is the striking contrast between traditional toxic media tropes and Ryan and Emma's approach. We are so used to seeing screaming matches to show passion, or pressure to show desire, or characters pretending to be someone they're not just to keep a partner interested. But when Ryan and Emma learned about each other's weaknesses, and when inevitable disagreements happened, they didn't resort to explosive arguments. They just talked honestly. They chose respect. Because of this, every single challenge they faced actually made their bond stronger, rather than fracturing it. This deep mutual respect is perfectly encapsulated during a really sweet milestone moment months later. Ryan plans a surprise picnic beside a peaceful lake, and he brings her favorite homemade cookies, again, showing that paying attention to those little things really matters. As they sit there discussing their future careers, travel, and family, Ryan tells her, "I care about you deeply, but I never want you to feel rushed." And then he shares this absolute gem of a sentiment: whatever happens in our relationship should always be something we both want. By explicitly removing the pressure, he ensures Emma feels entirely safe, and her immediate response: "That's one of the reasons I trust you." Let's head into Section 4, The Power of Consent, Enthusiastic Agreement in Action. So, what's really interesting about this concept is how it frames consent. Consent is so often treated as this clinical, legalistic checklist, right? Which can make it feel so detached. But this story? It frames consent as a deeply romantic milestone that actually supercharges intimacy. Picture them on a quiet hill. The sunset is changing the sky from orange to purple. There's a gentle breeze. Ryan tells her how much he enjoys being with her. And after a brief, comfortable silence, he asks this simple, beautiful question. Would it be all right if I held your hand?
And this is exactly what true consent looks like in practice. Emma's willing response, looking at him, smiling, and gently placing her hand in his, shows us exactly what enthusiastic agreement is. Sure, it was a small gesture, but it meant a massive deal because it was shared completely willingly by both of them. Affection in their relationship always came from shared feelings and comfort, never ever from an expectation or pressure. And honestly, that is what makes it genuinely romantic.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, the secret to lasting romance, authenticity and the long haul. Imagine a cozy winter evening in a small apartment. They are laughing while hanging up lights, completely burning a batch of cookies by accident, and just dancing around the living room to their favorite songs. In the middle of this perfectly imperfect evening, Emma highlights the ultimate secret to their lasting romance. She says, "I never have to pretend to be someone else." And Ryan replies, "Neither do I." Wow, that is the absolute pinnacle of a healthy relationship, isn't it? The complete freedom and absolute safety to just be your authentic self without any fear of judgment. Because they built their foundation on active listening, patience, and consent, they earned the right to simply exist comfortably with one another. Years down the road, when friends would ask them how they built such an incredibly strong connection, they didn't point to dramatic turning points or wild, cinematic grand gestures. Instead, they realized that lasting romance is created through everyday things: honesty, patience, kindness, trust, and a whole lot of laughter. Most importantly, it was created by choosing each other and respecting each other every single day. It's a daily practice, you guys, not just a one-time achievement.
So, to wrap up this explainer today, I really want to leave you with Ryan's own final piece of advice on how they made it work. And I want to challenge you to look at your own communication habits. Ask yourself, in your relationships, are you listening more than talking? It's a remarkably simple question, but man, it requires a lot of self-awareness to answer honestly. True romance, as Ryan and Emma have so beautifully shown us, starts not with what we demand from our partners, but with how well we listen to them. Take that thought with you today, and thank you so much for joining me for